U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Nikki Haley praised the courage of Iranian demonstrators and said protests across the country were spontaneous, not driven by outside forces. Meanwhile, Haley also said the United States was seeking emergency sessions on Iran at the United Nations in New York and at the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva.
These first days of 2018, nowhere is the urgency of peace, security, and freedom being more tested than in Iran. By the thousands, Iranian citizens are taking to the streets to protest the oppression of their own government. It takes great bravery for the Iranian people to use the power of their voice against their government, especially when their government has a long history of murdering its own people who dare to speak the truth. So we applaud the tremendous courage of the Iranian people. The UN must speak out. In the days ahead, we will be calling for an emergency session both here in New York and at the Human Rights Council in Geneva. We must not be silent. The people of Iran are crying out for freedom. All freedom-loving people must stand with their cause. The international community made the mistake of failing to do that in 2009. We must not make that mistake again.
I think the ultimate end game would be that the citizens and the people of Iran are actually given basic human rights, and he'd certainly like to see them stop being a state sponsor of terror. I think that's something the whole world would like to see. Look, we certainly keep our options open in terms of sanctions, in terms of signing a waiver later in January. The president hasn't made a final decision on that. He's going to keep all of his options on the table in that regard.
Ambassador Haley's comments were followed by the White House, which in its statement said that Trump's endgame in Iran is human rights and hinted at the possibility of Trump reimposing Tehran sanctions waived under the Iran nuclear deal.